you asked some really good question there though about doing audience validation.
Yeah. I kind of got where you're going with the response, but I actually think that's maybe a different concept, right? Like in the long run, you definitely don't want to fragment your audiences because they compete against each other. I totally get that. But like I like your framework idea of like testing frameworks in an ad set by ad set on a rapid testing, right? And so my question is like, why wouldn't you just verify through testing the audience to understand, should it be broad? Does it really work for this ICP? Should it be heavily customized? Should it be lookalikes? Like, maybe just talk me through, you know, how you would think about testing and validating the audience setup.
Well, I don't really do that anymore like I used to. It's like kind of an old practice, honestly. Like what we used to do for audience validation, or what people do when they're doing audience validation, is they'll set up multiple ad sets with different audiences. And then what they'll do is they'll run maybe similar or pretty close to similar creative in each of those ad sets. And then if you sometimes another way you can do it is run the actual same creative against your different audiences, and then you see which audience the creative resonates with, or maybe
Exactly. Yeah.
selecting the audience like resonated a little bit more. Um, but the honest truth is that now the algorithm has grown so sophisticated, like the AI machine learning is so sophisticated with Meta, that like it's going to do a way better job targeting once it starts getting its data coming in a consistent manner. So the more you spend time sending data signals into Meta from like different audiences, the more it's kind of like readjusting and figuring things out. So sometimes audience validation is good when you're launching a new account, because you're trying to just see if you can try to get the data flowing into the account in like a more cost effective way, because you're trying to figure out targeting that might get you cheaper CPMs. Because when you talk about dropping costs, the only thing they charge you is for impressions. That's the only thing they charge you for. So dropping your lead cost is directly correlated with dropping your CPMs. So to lower your cost per impression, it's better for your data signals to be like consistent over time, because then you're getting that the algorithm starts to pick up momentum, and usually where most accounts end up is just broad targeting. Like for almost every single, even large volume account I worked on, we used to still do audience validation. We still would usually end up going broad after running conversions for a period of time.
Interesting. Are you suggesting then that you actually do start by having a slightly more narrowed audience, either through interests or through like custom lists, like first party lists? Are you saying start there, get some data going, and then slowly remove some of that after you've got a bunch of conversions?
Yeah, you start testing broadly. You start
Got it.
as you launch your tests, you just start incrementally like
Mm.
doing stuff, because
Mm.
Meta does better with more data, basically. Like the machine learning
Yeah.
does better with more data, and the data
Mhm.
mostly comes out of impressions. Because like when somebody sees your ad, Meta measures their behavior against it.
Right.
Just that creates a ton of learning. So obviously conversions are like the gold. Like you want conversion data, and that's
Mhm.
like what everybody talks about and looks about. But nowadays, they work a lot more with front end data for targeting, especially when we had the whole like iOS 14, I think it was, like apocalypse, where like Apple updated their devices, and then HTML based tracking from pixel tracking just got shot, like because of the privacy restrictions, basically.
Got it.
So we switched over, started doing server side tracking, and tried. Meta launched their CAPI when that happened. They launched conversions API tracking. And when they launched that, it helps. Like it helped improve data tracking by probably like 40 or 50% in most cases, sometimes 60, because the HTML tracking is so just kind of lightweight and dynamic, because it's just sitting in global header code on a website. Where conversion is like the server sends the event like directly into the ad
Yeah.
account.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
better, it's better if those data signal, like if you're trying to get data into the account, and that's why I prefer the rapid testing method too, because you get so many impressions for so cheap. Uh,
Yeah, so I'm definitely on board with that. I think that's a really clever approach. So I've been building a ton of. So I'm still off Facebook, by the way. Like I still can't get onto it. But we'll come back to that another time. So in the meantime, I've been building a ton of creative.
You can even look at it if you want. Like I've got time for even
There's
like
nothing. There's nothing to look at. It's like it literally just shows it. Like I've got multiple layers of issues right now. My issue is it says your account has been locked because we think it has been hacked, which it wasn't. I was
yeah.
and so it wanted me to submit an ID. I've submitted my ID 3-4 times, and they're just not. They're not letting me even back into. It's not like my account has been like blocked. They're just like, we need to verify that it's you to let you back in, and it's taking like 48 hours every time just to get them to review it, and then they don't actually give me feedback. So
Yeah.
I'm I don't know where I'm at right now, and I can't connect to anyone there because I can't get onto the platform at all and chat with anyone or create any tickets. So it's a massive issue, and I
Oh
like
yeah.
that's the first step. Is once I get back into the account, then I can like figure out, well, okay, what do I do from here to make sure that I'm
How
not going to
old
get banned again?
how old is your personal Facebook account?
25 years.
Yeah, well, the problem I can tell you because I've run into this before a lot is the problem with the legacy accounts is that they're more prone to like bugs and issues. And honestly, it could be like you have that lead form thing. Um,
Mhm.
we've been consulting, so like if anybody hears this call, they're going to be like, "What?" But basically, those legacy accounts are way more prone to have bugs and like weird issues that Facebook tried to bring over. They did a really good job migrating. Like, do you remember when Facebook got their update and it was like,
Not really. I didn't use Facebook for many, many, many years, and only started using it a couple years ago for the business, for advertising only.
back in the day, I don't know if you remember, Facebook used to have like a dark blue like banner, and it was like a lot more dark blue kind
Yeah.
of. Then they updated and they went to, I forget the type of coding, but now we have this like clean white interface with bright blue icons and stuff. That whole like interface upgrade, they had to take all of the legacy accounts and bring them into that new upgraded
Mm.
platform. So unfortunately, like a lot of times you just run into weird issues with your legacy accounts. And so they've enabled like if you start a new Facebook page and you haven't ever started one before on the current platform, like the way it is now, I've done that
Mm.
with clients and they're able to just set up a brand new account, like on a brand new platform, a personal account, and like they have zero problems. Because it's
So
not like
let's do this. Let's do this. Let me see what happens if I get any feedback on this. I'll let you know, because once I'm back on, then I think it's worth me and you having like a tailored consulting session to just go through and lock down and make sure that like I've got the right business manager set up. Not everyone on the call needs to hear this nonsense with my account. So we can park that. I'll ask some questions that might be relevant to other people.
yeah, I mean the good news is like if you can get into your business manager, like you probably still have to figure out your problem, like where you're at now. Like you
Hmm.
probably have to get into your current account. But
Hmm.
what you might consider doing is once you get into your business manager, go set up your other personal Facebook page, and then add yourself to your business manager as an admin. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that way you've got your other personal account on there, and then you kind of have multiple access points. You just have to make sure the new personal account you like log into it like once a week and post the content and like make a friend, make sure your
Does
profile.
Facebook allow you to have multiple personal accounts?
They do, especially for people that had legacy accounts, especially
Oh,
because
interesting.
back when we started our Facebook accounts, like back in the day, there wasn't as much verification. Like you could basically just like throw up a profile.
Mm.
And now there's like they're doing like verification, ID checks, and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of times it's not uncommon for people to just start a new Facebook page, and
And you have to
they
use like a separate email address and stuff.
yeah, it's best to use a different email address. So you don't run into because they'll start saying, "Oh, this is attached to another profile." You just want to do it like you're brand new to Facebook, basically. But still use like your ID, use your picture in your profile in your personal profile because, or have a picture of you, generally speaking, because that Facebook actually looks at that. They want to see that you're like a real
Mhm.
person. Like a big mistake, and this is good for everybody actually, a big mistake a lot of business owners do is they set up their personal Facebook profile like a business. and they put like a logo in it. There's no content. They don't have any friends, and those accounts almost always get ads rejected and like have ad accounts get shut down and stuff because Meta's just like, well, you look like you're gonna scam somebody, you know, like
Right.
you don't look
Right.
like you're supposed to have a personal profile, and you basically set up a business page on your personal profile.
All right. Well, let me take it one step at a time, and hopefully I get there. Let me ask you something. So I was reading a lot of your we're watching your videos and stuff, and they're super helpful.
Nice.
I I just had some questions around. So like what I'm doing right now while I'm waiting for my Facebook account to get back up is I've been creating a bunch of creatives, different
Nice,
frameworks. I've got a really nice. I've got about 5 or 6 frameworks that I've done, and I've created 3 different versions of each one.
nice,
And where I'm at right now is, and with all of those, I've also created both square and like tall, quote unquote, versions.
nice.
But but um, here are my questions, right? So like ChatGPT image output, they don't actually render 4 by 5
Hmm.
outputs. They only render 2 by 3 or like other stuff, 9 by 16. And
Right.
so because I've got so many of these creatives and we're just testing, I don't know if I do need to pull these into Canva and actually create true 4 by 5 images, or whether I can just, for ease, use the GPT outputted 2 by 3s.
Well, the answer is it depends. Like generally speaking, ChatGPT, like image 2.0 can get close, like it can get pretty close to the right
Yeah.
aspect ratio. So when you upload those, it depends on if you set up the ad as dynamic or individual. If you set up the ad as dynamic, it does a really good job actually just fitting the native chat GPT files like right into your test. Um,
Right.
Now, if you're doing, I'm sorry, if you're doing rapid testing, you don't want to do that though. You can't use DC,
Oh,
actually can't use DCO for rapid testing. Uh,
okay.
DCO specifically for conversion campaigns because Meta knows that now you're doing a multivariate ad set. Like there's multiple things in the ad set that get the conversion. Whereas like engagement ads, you're focused on very basic actions. Like you just want that ad to get its views. So at a rapid testing level, you can definitely get away with it because you have more flexibility in those creative optimization options, the Advantage
So
Plus
what
one.
do you do? Do you like I saw you do it both ways in your demos. Well, maybe I didn't see it both ways, but like do you create an ad and then upload related media? So do you upload, like if you're doing single image, do you upload like the square and then do you also upload a vertical into that same ad, or do you create a separate ad in a
Yeah.
different, with a different dimension? Okay.
In the rapid testing phase, I mean, I call it rapid testing, but really what's happening is it's isolated creative. Isolated creative testing is needed is the first step. You have to do isolated testing first. And when you haven't been doing a lot of testing yet, or like you're kind of getting started with rapid testing, and you did a great job because you did the thing that basically no one does, which is you sat down and you made ads.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it
I
can
had a lot
be.
of time to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fun, so I like doing it a lot, and I like probably do it more than I should, and I obsess over stuff like that. But honestly, like for most people, it's a difficult task to schedule and do. And that's the main thing is
Mhm.
if you're like every week I'm going to make, 10, 15 ads, that's what most businesses with an advertising department are doing is they have a quota. They're going to meet their
Mhm.
quota on a weekly basis. So, I mean, just doing that as a business is just good course of business. Like you want to make sure you're sitting down and making ads. Once you do that and it's kind of your first time testing like a batch of ads, because that's what happens really is you did the plan, you thought about it, you made the ads, and now you have your actual campaign. Meta's just the vehicle for it. So you put I like to put all of them in the first rapid into one ad set, which is kind of different than like how I train it for like ongoing use or for operations. Initially, what's good is you take those 15 ads or like 20 ads or something, you actually run them all in one ad set for engagement. Make sure each of the different square vertical variations are in their own ad level. And you actually just run all of the frameworks against each other because what you're doing is you're testing frameworks before you test angles. sequentially, basically, for
Mhm.
testing purposes.
Mhm.
So what happens is you can see which framework, generally speaking, actually got preferential treatment from the algorithm is what you're looking for. And you can say, well, and then you see like, well, I tested like the text messaging framework, or I tested like a listicle framework, like making the article.
Yeah.
Um, and like this one article got a bunch of impressions. The infographic did horribly. This other infographic like did okay. So we could probably say infographics are okay and they kind of work. But what you do then is you've identified frameworks and you're like, okay, well, I spent $10 and I figured out that these two frameworks are the ones that I'm going to make different angles on, more
Mhm.
angle. And it's better actually if you do it the way you did it, where you create different variations, like you were going to do more compartmentalized testing on that framework for your
Mhm.
angles, but you do it in a batch for your framework testing. Because my opinion on that is because you want the different angles in it. You're still testing the framework, but you're giving different views of the framework. You're not really validating the angle, but it helps to validate the framework to have more options, basically. Um,
Sure.